Right. We are once again live. We're always live, right? And it's December the 23rd, 2015, and we're here with Dr. Novak to talk about an upcoming snowstorm for Christmas night. First of all, I want to remind people that the Twitter addresses that you can find more information on is Min Forecaster, just at Min Forecaster, MN Forecaster, and then Dr. Novak, what are you, Minnesota weather?
No, just Novak weather. Novak weather.
Okay, so there you go. So there you got some extra resources because this video is, kind of boring and it's only timely for the time we're doing it. So anyway, with that, Tom, we got a little tease of snow out there. It sounded like today. Parts of the area got a little bit more, but it really wasn't the real snowstorm people were wanting. But that might be on the horizon. Is that right?
That's right. So just to recap today, coating to 2 inches over basically a good chunk of southeastern Minnesota. Heavier totals in the western and northwestern Wisconsin, those of you up in Cumberland, Hayward, even as far south as Baldwin, Wisconsin, received 3 to 4 inches of snow. So there was some heavy, wet concrete-like snow, Bill, that fell very close to the Twin Cities. Of course, Twin Cities missed out because it is just too warm.
How about Rochester?
Rochester, about 2 inches. Beautiful out the door here in Rochester. So, but that's changing, Bill. People could probably feel a little bit of an extra chill in the air even this evening. That's because a little bit more Arctic air is moving in to southern and eastern Minnesota, and that Arctic air is going to set the stage now for what I believe is going to be a very healthy snowstorm over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. In fact, this is going to be wide-reaching, Bill. It's probably going to run from Nebraska and South Dakota all the way east and northeast to the upper peninsula of Michigan. So it's going to cover a wide area of real estate, and it's going to be a fairly hefty snowstorm in some areas, and I think that's going to include the Twin Cities.
How far west do you think it may extend? Because the Twin Cities on the western.
Yeah, certainly back out into the Rocky Mountains, maybe the Denver area. But as this storm system pulls out into the plains, it's going to gulp up some of that Gulf moisture and then, of course, throw it over this dome of cold air that we have in place. And that's the perfect, one of the most important ingredients that you need to get a winter storm. So,
Tom, is that the storm that's going to come through here tomorrow?
Tomorrow, well, I don't know about a storm tomorrow. You must be listening, or you mean that's going through California? Right? Yeah. Here, you got to watch what you're saying when you say here, Bill. We're us Minnesotans, we're just not used to you high-end California folks out there.
Yeah. No, there's a big storm coming through here tomorrow, and I assume that's gonna be the kicker to roll in.
Yeah, that's correct, Bill. That we're waiting for that energy to come on shore. You know how we always say that, Bill, about 24 to 48 hours in advance of the storm. That's usually when it comes onto the West Coast. So that means that, yes, late tonight and tomorrow morning, that storm's coming on coast in Western California. We'll be able to measure the storm a lot better then, and then we'll be able to really hone in on snow totals and exact storm track as we go through the day tomorrow and into Christmas morning. But needless to say, the model data has been consistent, and there is some consensus between the GFS, European computer model, even the Canadian model, have all shown that this is going to be a snowmaker for southern Minnesota. So, and we're going to show you why, Bill. How does that sound?
Tom, just give me on a 1 to 10 scale. How confident are you that this is going to be?
9.
9. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, high confidence on this. The reason why, Bill, and I'm showing you right now. You should see the jet stream right now. This is from the GFS computer model. You can see this is Saturday evening, 84 hours from now, basically. You can see this is what we call a jet streak, Bill. These purplish colors and then this blue color up here in red. This is a jet streak. These are very strong winds at the 250 millibar level, way up in our atmosphere. But this is important because the jet stream is a good indicator of just how much of a temperature contrast you're going to have on either side of the jet streak. So, oops, sorry, let's go back to that. So here it is for Saturday morning. Very strong jet streak from Minnesota on east into Maine and eastern Canada. That means that there's going to be Arctic air just north of us over northern Minnesota, and south of us, Bill, I think most everybody knows that they've been having a heat wave down on the Gulf Coast, and much of the southeastern and the eastern United States. Well, that's going to continue into the early morning hours of Saturday. So we're going to be talking about temperatures in the 70s and 80s down in the Gulf Coast, and then temperatures maybe even below zero as you head up into North Dakota and into Manitoba and Saskatchewan of Canada. So
we love those contrasts.
Yeah, we love the contrast, and it's all because of this strong jet streak that we have overhead. And that's important because look at it. The winds are blowing from the southwest, Bill. This is Friday, and look where our winds are coming from, straight from the southwest to northeast. That means that the Gulf of Mexico is going to be wide open for business, and it's going to suck up some moisture and throw it over that cold dome of air over Minnesota as we head through the day Saturday. And then finally, that jet stream, the strength of it starts to break down. But here's another little teaser, Bill. Look at what's happening on Tuesday. See this circular area here over Iowa and Missouri? That's another storm system, a very potent one that may affect southern Minnesota and Wisconsin as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. But we're not going to focus on that very much. We really want to concentrate on what's happening on Friday and Saturday. And again, that jet stream is going to play a large role. Now, Bill, this is the NAM 4K short-term computer model. This goes out to about 60 hours in advance. Reason why I'm showing this to you for two reasons, because I want to show you the temperature contrast that this computer model is depicting for Friday. And this is Friday night now, Bill. And look at down here. Now, let's give you some perspective. This is Minneapolis and St. Paul right here, okay? And here's Minnesota, okay? So look at what happens to the temperatures during the day on Friday. This pink, dark pink, hot pink color is temperatures below zero in northern North Dakota late Friday night. And then down here, Bill, it's kind of hard to see, but this is the St. Louis area of Missouri and southern Illinois. Those are temperatures in the 70s, even at midnight on Friday. Okay, so that's Christmas night. Temperatures in the 70s in St. Louis. That's unheard of. That is record warmth down there. That's an 80-plus degree temperature contrast between St. Louis and Minot, North Dakota. Not very difficult to figure out where a storm system is going to develop, is it, Bill? Somewhere in between, right?
Yep.
That would mean Nebraska, Iowa, southern Minnesota, Wisconsin. These areas are going to be in the firing line for a very impressive storm system as we head into Friday night and Saturday. And let's just take a look at the future radar from the NAM 4K computer model. And we're going to look at Friday. Here's Friday morning. Not much happening except for some snow out in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. But watch what happens as we go through the day Friday and then Friday night. Very important frame right here, Bill. This is midnight Friday. Look at what happens between 7 p.m. Friday, which basically nothing over the upper Midwest, and then midnight. This is an explosion of precipitation over Iowa, southern Minnesota, and South Dakota. And if we extrapolate that into Saturday morning, you would expect that this area of precipitation is going to expand. And the NAM 4K computer model believes that pretty much all of southern Minnesota is going to be snow late Friday night and Saturday. And again, I expect that to be a fairly hefty amount.
So Tom, are you here? Anyway, are you more concerned, if you're concerned about anything, would you be more concerned about precipitation or cold air?
Yeah, so I always look at the three basic ingredients for me for a winter storm. You need cold air, right? And we haven't had that the last couple of months. Okay, you need moisture. That seems kind of logical, right? And you need a storm system. Okay, well, I'm confident that the moisture is going to be there. That's number one. I'm almost positive that'll be there. The cold air, I'm still a little hesitant, but I'm feeling better about that. But of course, the way this winter has gone so far, anything could happen, right? But I'm cautiously optimistic that the cold air will be there. Storm system, that's still a little bit of a question mark. So if there's any reason for me to hedge a bet right now, it's because I'm just not quite sure.
Yeah.
that storm
Tom, explain the difference. You say you're confident that there'll be moisture, but you're not confident there'll be a storm system. So what exactly? They're obviously not one and the same then, right?
No, they're not one and the same. I mean, we need to have a distinct disturbance. So a storm system is considered a disturbance in the weather world, right? We need a disturbance to pull out of the Rockies on Friday and into the plains by Saturday morning. It's not your classic major winter storm pulling out, at least the way it appears right now. Now, of course, when that storm comes ashore on the West Coast tomorrow, we'll measure it better and we'll get a better grasp on what's going to happen. But right now, it doesn't look to be that classic winter storm. But what I am seeing that I really like is that we're going to have cold air in place, and we're going to have what's called overrunning, Bill, of warm moisture over a cold dome of air.
Yep.
And when you can get that, that's a perfect setup for snow. Are we going to have a blizzard? Likely not, because we don't have that major disturbance coming out into the plains, which would create the wind and the circulation of the winds and then the strong northwest winds. I don't think we're going to have that. I think it's going to be one of these storms, Bill, where it's going to be heavy snow, 4, 6, 8 inches of snow. It's going to fall fast and furious, and then it's just going to leave us alone, and it's going to look beautiful outside. You won't have to worry about a blizzard.
Tom, with the overrunning, does that tend to result in more general snowfall, less of a severe cutoff, or not really?
Well, yeah, that's kind of tough to say, but yeah, I think in this scenario there won't be that sharp cutoff that we have dealt with many, many times in the Twin Cities. Yeah. I'm pretty confident that all of the metro area is going to get in on significant snow, and it's going to extend well north into central and even portions of northern Minnesota, and even as far south as maybe even northern Iowa. I am concerned about a mix, Bill, over the I-90 corridor in southern Minnesota and, of course, into western Wisconsin. By the way, what you're seeing now, Bill, this is my travel impact map, and I believe I may have posted this on Facebook, but if I haven't, here it is. Look, I'm very confident already that South Dakota on east in the Twin Cities is going to have some travel issues late Friday and Saturday. And Bill, I'm thinking after 9 o'clock on Friday is when this all starts really gets going. Okay.
The big question for the historical people are: it has to be 1 inch of snow officially to make it a white Christmas anytime during the day on Christmas. Is that right?
That I don't know. That sounds right.
Yep.
And if that's going to be the criteria, it's going to be a close one for the Twin Cities, okay? Because I don't think we officially have 1 inch of snow at the MSP International right now. So that it's going to be close whether we're going to have a white Christmas or not. But Bill, this travel impact graph, this map, I'm likely going to upgrade portions of eastern South Dakota and then on east to the Twin Cities into a high level tomorrow if data comes in overnight that continues to be consistent, which means travel is going to be very difficult come Christmas night and into Saturday morning. So just keep that in mind. And Bill, I know everybody likes to ask, okay, how much snow are we going to get, right? And it's tough. Remember,
they don't really care about that.
Well, no, that's probably the most important thing, right? Because they hold us to it, right?
Right.
But what you're seeing now is the latest hot off the press from Novak Weather snow totals. And this is, I know it's a little alarming. I mean, 6 to 9 inches plus of snow from just west of the Twin Cities into South Dakota. That shows you that I'm feeling really good about this storm system. In fact, I won't be surprised if I have to nudge this 6 to 9 inch area east into the Twin Cities when model data comes down overnight tonight. But this almost as close as you can get to a lock, in my opinion. But one more time, Bill, we got to wait for this storm to come ashore tomorrow before I really put all my my effort and confidence into this storm system.
Before you put your frozen eggs in the basket.
Right. I mean, I don't want to count the chickens before they're hatched, but I mean, this one it just seems right. It feels right. And I'm feeling good about this map right now. And of course, Bill, we got to put an area of ice from about Rochester on south And we'll see how the storm develops, but I'm pretty confident on the southern edge of this storm system, of this snow band, there will be some ice.
Tom, looking at the storm track you have going from Des Moines to Chicago, that isn't the ideal, super ideal path going from Des Moines a little bit more north of that line? Like
right now, if it was a classic winter storm, that's probably not the best track. Okay, but remember, this isn't your classic winter storm. This is an overrunning type of a situation where we're just simply overrunning a boundary. So really, that's a pretty good path for this overrunning type of a storm system. Hence, again, the reason why I don't think we're going to have a big blizzard, because we just won't have the real strong winds that you get with a classic winter storm. And by the way, by 6 p.m. on Saturday, this thing should be out of our hair, and we won't have to worry about it. So a good 12 to 16 hours of threatening weather of snow.
Any sense on how dry or wet the snow will be?
Wet snow. That's just something we're going to have to live with, I think, all year, Bill. I don't see any Arctic outbreaks. I mean, major, week-long Arctic outbreaks. I don't know if that's going to happen at all this winter season. We definitely need to blame that, for the most part, on El Nino. That's a typical El Nino pattern where cold Arctic air kind of gets cut off at the pass before it can really reach deep into the United States.
Yep. Anything else for us, Tom?
That's it, my friend. Of course, everybody needs to stay tuned to Minnesota Forecaster and Novak Weather on Facebook and Twitter and on your blog page, right, for the latest, because there's good stuff on all those three environments.
And we're a little bit more accurate than Dave Dahl.
No comment.
You are. I know you don't want to comment. But I think a lot of us think that.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of months for a lot of us.
So diplomatic. All right, Tom. We'll look forward to seeing what transpires.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and especially to you, Bill.
Why, thank you, Tom. You too.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.